Hi guys, so I'm going to be covering the rec lesson plan for the next 2 weeks, April 6th through the 16th. We're going to be doing progression review of our skills and also skill checks. So we'll be covering what those skills need to look like in order to mark that your kid has mastered it. So our first station is handstands. They can either put their hands down with their belly against the wall, or they can start from a lunge, lever into their handstand, all the way to vertical, and then back to a lunge. Next, they're going to be doing backward rolls, starting from a stand, landing up to their feet, or they can try bridges, starting down on the mat, pushing all the way up off their head, and then lifting their leg up to vertical. Next, they're going to be moving over to the panel mat, where they're going to be working their cartwheels. They start within a lunge position, reach their hands to the very end, land in a lunge position. Next, they're going to be working on their jumps. They can punch down, do tuck jumps, trying to get their knees up to their chest, or split jumps, and they're trying to work their feet all the way back together there. Now, finally, they're going to be showing their skills on the last station. They have jumps, making sure that they're jumping off of both feet. For their forward and backward rolls, they need to be starting from a stand, not using any hands to help them get up, and then landing in a stand. Handstands, we want to see that they go from a lunge position, get their feet all the way together, back to a lunge position. Cartwheels, we want to see that they're kicking over their head, arms stay up by their ears, landing in a lunge. For their bridge, we want to make sure that they're up off their head and that their leg is getting all the way up to the ceiling. For bars, on our cast, we want to make sure that they're kicking their heels back with their hips lifting up away from the bar, and that we are controlling our forward roll dismount off the bar. They should not be flinging off the bar. When you're watching their pullovers, make sure their chins come up, that their feet are kicking over, and they're pushing all the way up to front support with straight arms. Here we have cast to push away dismount, and then right now what you're watching is what they'll be doing on the coach's evaluation station. They need to meet those criteria for their pullover, cast, and their forward roll dismount coming down. Last station, they'll be doing tuck swings to a release into the pit. Moving on to balance beam. These two laser beams are going to be stationed together. They can work their split handstands or their full handstands, making sure they're starting in a lunge, arms stay by their ears. They're going to be working the same thing on the low beams. They can either start from a lunge from a panel mat at the end, or they can do their handstand on top of the beam. They'll be working jumps on the next medium beam, straight jumps and tuck jumps, making sure they're pushing their feet up off the floor, and then dismounts on this last beam. This last station is going to be the coach's evaluation station, where you're watching their skills to record whether they've mastered them or not. Starting with releve walks forward and backwards. Heels should be lifted up off the beam, and when they're walking backwards, they should be able to remain in releve without turning around to see where the end of the beam is. Next, they're going to be showing their jumps, just straight jumps. They should be able to push up and away from the beam, toes pointed, using their arms to help them get a greater height off the beam. For their lever tees, we want to make sure that they start in a lunge with their arms staying by their ears. And then for their side handstand, we want to make sure that they're getting up to as close to vertical as we can. Feet should definitely be getting together. Okay. So here you're going to see our first station. If they can't do the handstand over the boulder independently, you can scoot it back and have them do something they can do on their own. The resi is going to be our coach's evaluation station. We would ideally like them to go forward roll to flat fall, but they can also do straight jump up to their feet, forward roll. Next, they can either do tuck jump or front tuck in. Then they're going to move over to the table, where they're going to do squat on up, and then they can either tuck jump down or they can try a cartwheel in. Last station is going to be the rope, and then we have a mat in there so they can try and actually climb the rope this week.